The end of the Second World War marked the liberation of Korea from Japan, and the Korean peninsula was divided along the 38th parallel into two occupation zones, with the Soviet Union occupying the north and the United States occupying the south. The Korean War erupted in 1950 when North Korean forces under the leadership of Kim Il-sung invaded South Korea. Kim Il-sung, the founding leader of North Korea, established a cult of personality and implemented a centralized authoritarian regime. Under Kim Jong-un's leadership, North Korea continued its pursuit of nuclear weapons, leading to increased tension with the international community. There were periods of diplomatic engagement, such as the historic summit with US President Donald Trump. But North Korea remains isolated from much of the world, and the human rights situation within the country has been a subject of international concern. The nation continues to face economic challenges, and its nuclear weapons program remains a point of contention in international relations. Though Kim Jong-il had pledged to abide by the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty signed in 1995, in the early 2000s reports began to surface of underground nuclear facilities and ongoing research into the production of highly enriched uranium. By 2003, North Korea had withdrawn from the NPT, expelled international weapons inspectors, and resumed nuclear research.
There is currently a great connection between the nuclear weapons situation in North Korea and realism, which focuses on the role of power, interest, and the anarchical nature of the international system. Realism posits that the state are primarily motivated by the pursuit of power and security. In the case of North Korea, the development of nuclear weapons can be seen as a strategic move to enhance its own power and security in the face of perceived threats. The development of the nuclear weapons could be taken as a response to its geopolitical environment. Another point to take into account is that North Korea is breaking the balance of power, especially with its neighbors, country, and global actors. Also, in relation to realism, the security dilemma is part of this history, because the fact that North Korea developed its own nuclear arsenal to protect themselves makes this country a global threat. In addition to that, realism suggests that the states enter in action to maximize their security, investigating how North Korea's acquisition of powers, nuclear weapons, is a good decision to perceive threats.
Constructivism is the theory that explains human relations focusing on intersubjective beliefs, such as thoughts and ideas, that are shared by a group of people. From this theory, North Korea's nuclear ambitions can be explained through the process of identity formation and the existence of another. In this case, North Korea has been founded upon the idea of the threat of a possible invasion from the US and the creation of a unified country, taking the control of South Korea. In the collective imagination, people from North Korea believe there is no other country on the Korean peninsula, as South Korea is considered to be occupied by imperialist force, the US. In order to recuperate South Korea and expel the invasion, North Korea justified the process of gaining nuclear weapons.
North Korea's nuclear ambition have been a major international concern. Liberalism, as a political and economic ideology, emphasizes on the principles of individual rights, democracy and market capitalism. In this regard, North Korea's pursuit of nuclear capabilities is not directly linked to liberalism. The nuclear program of North Korea is a source of tension and conflict in the international community. The government's pursuit of nuclear weapons is framed as means to ensure its existence and deterrent of potential external threats. This regime have argued that possessing nuclear capabilities is a strategic necessity. On the other hand, liberalism favors diplomatic relations, international cooperations, and the resolution of conflicts through open dialogue and negotiations. Therefore, the liberal democrat states have condemned North Korea's nuclear program seeking into addressing the diplomatic means, economic sanctions, and multilateral negotiations.
Neo-Marxism revises and expands upon classical Marxist ideas, addressing issues beyond economic determinism and incorporating insights from various disciplines. It emphasizes global capitalism's impact, power dynamics, and the role of ideology in perpetuating social inequalities. With its focus on historical materialism, it can provide insights into how historical events and the progression of the material world, specifically in the production of nuclear weapons, have shaped North Korea's worldview and security concerns. Examining the relationship between North Korea and major global powers plays a role in understanding the motivations behind North Korea. For example, during the Korean War, North Korea saw a speedy recovery and grew bold enough to bring up the concept of self-reliance, which could connect to the reason why North Korea is now so isolated from the world. Neo-Marxism also emphasizes the role of imperialism and global power imbalances. North Korea's pursuit of nuclear weapons can be seen as a response to perceived threats from more powerful nations. From a neo-Marxist perspective, North Korea's actions might be interpreted as a strategy to assert itself into a world system where power is unevenly distributed. In regards to dependency theory, in North Korea's case, its ambition for nuclear capabilities could be framed within the context of ensuring its security and autonomy in the face of dependence on more powerful nations.
The policies established by the government have an impact on the population, including women. The nuclear ambition diverts resources that could be going to more important things, such as social programs, healthcare, education, and other services in need that can have gender-specific implications. When talking about North Korea, human rights concerns often arise. The reason for this is because there are several reports of political repression, censorship, and limited freedom. While the issues between nuclear ambition and feminism don't have a direct link, the broader context of authoritarian rule and the potential impact it may have on the well-being and rights of the population, especially women, remains an important issue to talk about in the situation in North Korea. Having said this, North Korea has an official ideological view. It includes statements about gender equality and women participation in different sectors of society. The government states that women have equal rights and opportunities, including access to education and employment.
Postcolonialism examines how newly independent states managed to make a name for themselves in a world still influenced by the effects of colonialism in power dynamics. Looking at North Korea's nuclear ambitions through a post-colonialist lens requires a bigger understanding of the country's historical context of having been colonized by Japan from 1910 to 1945. This period explains a resentment towards imperial powers that aligns with the post-colonialist train of thought, and North Korea, resurging from the Japanese colonial rule, helps us interpret its nuclear program as a means of asserting its state's sovereignty and protecting itself from exterior influence, particularly from Western powers. Furthermore, North Korea's aspirations can also be seen as a direct response to the American military presence in South Korea, as it is viewed as a continuation of Western dominance over the world, and therefore as a threat of Western intervention in its internal affairs. Indeed, following the Cold War, the role that North Korea played in it during the Korean War, and the outcome of it that left the United States as the only superpower in the world, turned nuclear capability, through the post-colonialist gaze, as a key way to counterbalance Western power and protect their country from the influence of these former colonial powers. In summary, in the frame of post-colonialism, we understand North Korea's pursuit of nuclear power as not only a military objective, but also as a symbol of resistance against a world order dominated by former colonial powers.
Nihilist is considered one of the best theory according to this case. North Korea, Kim Jong-un, follows guidance of his father and grandfather. His goal is to strengthen North Korea's nuclear weapon program, which it has continued to develop over the years. The country has a history conflicts, particularly with South Korea, and face external pressure from other nations. Development of nuclear weapon is often framed as a mean to defend against external threat and to gain power, and also it gives North Korea a strength in negotiating with other states.
이 조선 이끄는 힘 5세대다 인민의 운명을 한 몸에 안고 우리가 바라는 분갈이 이상 모두 다 벗겨주실 분.
A lot of friendships have been made, and this has been in particular a great friendship, so I just want to thank you. That was very quick notice, and I want to thank you.